Welcome back. It's time now for Focus here on France 24. Now, earlier this month, the Pakistani army suffered one of the greatest tragedies in its history, a deadly avalanche which struck the Gayari military base in Kashmir. Well, 140 people were trapped as they slept, and the rescue operation is still going on. Well, since the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947, the two countries have fought 3 wars over Kashmir. A 2003 ceasefire put an end to the combat, but to this day, both countries maintain their bases high up in the Himalayas. Well, as Noémie Lehouillier now reports, there in the world's highest battlefield, it's often the weather, not weapons, that poses the greatest threat of all.
At last, some mild weather allows rescuers to transport more relief material.
It's very difficult, but it's a soldier's life. It's our duty. Our brothers are still under in this area, so we have to do it.
They'll have to unearth the bodies of 140 soldiers trapped under an avalanche on April 7th. They were posted in this remote area of northern Kashmir at an altitude of almost 5,000 metres.
The mass of snow and ice and rocks that you see here, this is 200 to 250 feet above the ground level.
Rescuers are still digging through the rubble, but so far no bodies have been recovered. While the last skirmishes with India date back to 2003, it's now the weather that's become the biggest threat to Pakistani troops. Still, over 3,000 Pakistani soldiers keep guard in northern Kashmir, some living more than 6,000 metres above sea level.
It's fine. We have been here since 1984. Our troops are here and we have no problems. Everybody is here with us. Our troops are motivated and we are here to serve our nation.
But the official discourse doesn't match the reality on the ground. Here, nature kills on average 1 soldier every 4 days.
There is an aggressor who has taken the area, and unless and until he was to stop there at one line, he would have come more ahead of that. So we have taken a position to stop them there, and unless and until there is a resolution of this, we have to maintain and defend our land.
A resolution that's supported by the chief of the army, who says he believes in turning over a new leaf.
Peaceful coexistence between the two neighbors is very important, because ultimately the security of a country is when not only that you secure the boundaries, borders physically, but it is when the people who are living in the country, they are happy.
It's music to the ears of human rights advocates who've been calling for troops in the region to withdraw.
I think the Pakistan army is very, very serious about this and do want this conflict to be resolved. But then again, it's a matter of losing face, so I hope that that doesn't come in the way. Frankly, if you ask me, I think we should just move back first.
But the army remains sceptical. Meanwhile, India says it's ready to resume talks if Islamabad makes concrete efforts to fight Pakistani terrorist groups operating on its soil.
Well, for more on that, we're joined now by Meva Bambuk, who's France 24's correspondent in the region. She joins me now from neighbouring Afghanistan. Hi there, Meva. Now, that accident took place some 2 weeks ago, and that search, as we just heard there, is still going on. What's taking so long?
Time just because of the sheer scale of the avalanche. It covered a whole base. The snow and rock is so thick that they have to dig tunnels under the snow. And a few days ago, one of those tunnels became filled with toxic gas, and they had to stop for a little while rescue operations. So they run into difficulties, weather-related difficulties, especially since with the nicer weather, the risk of avalanche is greater. It's also very difficult to bring in any aid, any rescue supplies. It's a 4-hour journey from the capital to the Siachen Glacier. You have to take a plane, then a helicopter, then a 4x4. And in some days, the weather makes it just impossible for any plane to come nearby. In fact, the press was invited to the site some 2 weeks ago. It was cancelled every day because of the weather. 5 days ago, the weather was finally clear. They could make their way there. So it's very difficult to conduct any rescue operation in this part of the world. And in fact, they're not really looking for survivors anymore.
Now, maybe you're painting a picture there of an extremely hostile environment, hostile because of the natural elements there. Now, this fight over Kashmir is some 60 years old. Why is it so important? Why does it matter so much to India and Pakistan?
it dates back to the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947. At the time, Pakistan thought that because Kashmiris are mostly Muslim, that region should go with Pakistan. The king of Kashmir decided to ally with India. The reason why it's still important today is because it's in a very strategic location. It's between China, India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, and also most of the water that flows through Pakistan comes from Kashmir. So in case of a war, if India were to control Kashmir, Pakistan could run dry.
All right, so clearly at a crossroads and an important country strategically for Pakistan. Where do negotiations stand today between India and Pakistan, and can they really be restarted?
Well, there's no negotiation going on now, but it's been the quietest this region has been in over 60 years. And as the chief of the Pakistani army says, it may be a good time to restart negotiations. Both countries seem happy to do so. We have to remember that they fought over three wars over Kashmir. There were UN resolutions that were not really respected, and only since the ceasefire in 2003 that they've stopped fighting in the region. Now, there's one condition that India has put for any negotiations to resume, is that Pakistan stop harboring any terrorists that target India. We're not talking about Taliban or Al-Qaeda or Haqqani. We're talking about groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba that target Indians and that is supposed to have been behind the attacks in Mumbai in 2008. In fact, the Americans put a $10 million bounty on the head of their presumed leader, Hafez Saeed, a few weeks ago, and the Pakistani Prime Minister said he would not go after him, even though Hafez Saeed roams freely in Pakistan, because they had no proof. And that's the kind of thing that has India see red.
And finally, Maeva, there have been some glimmers of hope in terms of rebuilding the Pakistan-India relationship. And there was a visit made earlier this month by Zardari to New Delhi. Are such things likely to help bring about a better relationship?
Absolutely, and Pakistan is in the process of making India a most favored nation. That means that trade and business relations, the movement of people, it will be easier. In fact, both countries are making it easier for businessmen to get visas from one country to the next. There's a real desire from both countries to improve their relationships, and that's something that the U.S. is really pushing for as well. The U.S. is calculating that if Pakistan has better relations with India, then it can focus its military and intelligence resources on the western border with Afghanistan and fight terrorists like Al-Qaeda and the Taliban, while the NATO and the Americans are pulling out of Afghanistan on the other side of the border in 2014.
All right, Maeva Bambuk there in Kabul. We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. That was Focus. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Do stay tuned. We've got more news with Claire Pride in just a moment.
Watch all of France 24 on France24.com. It now features more content and is quicker and easier to use. 24 hours a day, wherever you are, visit our website and catch up on all the latest news. Watch the channel in high definition. Pause live TV and watch programs from the past 24 hours at the click of a button. Find our reports, programs and web documentaries in seconds. All of France 24 in French, English and Arabic on France24.com.